Hi, my name is Rohini. I work at Breathe Pilates in Singapore. Today we're just going to do a mat class, something for you to just follow along and do at home while most of us I think are locked in or staying back at home, alright. So we're just going to start with some nice warm up here in your standing position. I'm going to try and see how best we can use things at home that you might already have to do your mat based Pilates exercises to make sure you stay nice and flexible and emerge out of this period quite strong, okay. So I'm just going to start with a simple roll down with a side rotation or a side movement and a side bend, okay. So we're just going to start with our knees and feet about hip distance apart, arms to your sides, shoulders relaxed. Before we get going, we're just going to start with some shoulder movement. Take a nice big breath in through your nose, raise your shoulders up to the ceiling and circle them back and down. We'll do this 3 to 4 times, as long as you can do this feeling comfortable and not having any strain through the neck or the chest. Breathe in and back. Once more, and then we reverse the motion, moving backwards, upwards and forwards with the shoulder. Keeping your head directly above your shoulders, your feet hip distance apart, and your weight distributed between all 10 toes and both heels. Your arches lifted away from the floor. Good. Once you've done that, you're just going to keep your feet, just watch them, they haven't grown too far away from each other. Then we're going to raise our arms up to the ceiling, keeping your shoulders as relaxed as you like, thinking of the tops of your t-shirt being nice and soft. Take a nice big breath in through the nose, as if you're about to dive into the pool, which you can't go to right now. Slowly exhale and curl over. Let your hands come in line with your knees and stay there for a moment. Let your head drop. So you're looking at your chest. Now you're going to sweep your left arm away from you on a nice big breath in through the nose. Breathe in, sweep the left arm up, turning your head, your chest, your arm, your shoulder, keeping your right arm relaxed and hanging down. Slowly turn your shoulder, your chest, your chin, your head to look down to the floor. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. Try not to shift the weight too much to your right leg if you can. Press the left heel down, let the right arm hang like I'm demonstrating here. It's a dead arm. Good, slowly back down. 2 more, breathe in and out. And last one here. And down. Let's do the same thing on the other side, always watching our neck is in the most comfortable position and down. Lots of movement is good through the shoulder and the upper back. Feel like you're throwing something up to the ceiling and then you're bringing it back to the floor. 1 more. And relax. Slowly tuck your chin toward your chest and roll yourself upright. Let your shoulders roll back and relax by your side. Alright, now we're going to move and find maybe a door frame or something solid connected to the floor. We have a piece of equipment here which is quite solid and connected to the floor. So you can find a door frame, like I said. Many of us, because we're going to be sitting hunched over and are going to be like watching telly or whatever it is in not so good positions, we're going to make sure we stretch out the side of our shoulders and our lower back region, alright. So you're going to grab on to an upright like I have here or the side of your door frame. Place one arm underneath you, one arm below, above your shoulders, and then slowly walk away from the frame, really easy, letting your top hip roll back and relax toward the wall behind you. Let your neck just drop down to your bottom arm in whatever position feels comfortable. We're looking for a stretch right from the side of your rib cage all the way through to the back and top of your hip. You take a couple of breaths in through the nose, feeling like you're expanding the side of your rib cage, like you have a balloon you're blowing air into. And as you breathe out, you deflate that balloon. Good, slowly, 3 to 5 breaths here. And if you like, on the next exhalation, slowly as you deflate, slowly turn your chest and nose to look down to the floor. Inhale, raise your chest and head up. Ground your left foot and your right foot down. A slight bend in the knees is absolutely fine. Good. Once more, getting a bit of rotation through your upper spine here. And relax. We'll do the other side too. So bottom arm here, top arm holding on to the upright, letting your head relax, letting your hips move away. You can also, of course, shift your hips away from you if you need to. One side you might find is a bit tighter than the other. So of course you adjust for your flexibility and take your time with it. And then again, the same thing, rotating your neck, your chin, looking down to the floor, and raising your neck, your chin, your head to look forwards. Keep your feet grounded, soft bend through the knees. And slowly relax. And we're going to lie on our backs to go on to our abdominal and lower back exercises. So alright, so we're going to get onto our backs here. So I understand I have a box here. You might wonder what you can use at home. You can of course use your coffee table. I find most coffee tables to be the right height. Please find something solid and firm so you can place your feet on top of that. This will just help you work through your hips and your lower back without causing any strain or discomfort, because we don't definitely want to have any strain while we're doing our exercises, all right? So what we're going to do is have a lie down on your back, right? You're going to keep your feet, if you can flatten them, fantastic. If you can't, it's all right. Keep your heels down there. Bring your arms to your side and rest your head in a nice, comfortable way. Looking directly up to the ceiling, you want to think of your rib cage and your lower back being relaxed. What I mean by that is, if you have a quick look here, this space underneath your lower back is a bit excessive and we would want this to be a little lesser. So you think of the sides of your t-shirt relaxing and just softening down to the bed. Have your arms by your side. You're going to just keep focusing on your breathing and you're just going to lift your right knee above your right hip. So since you have the support of the table, it's not going to be very high for you to lift. So it's going to be really easy. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. On your exhalation, raise or float your leg above your hip like so. And then slowly, keeping the arc of the knee and the hip consistent, lower your leg down and alternate, breathing out and breathing in. Really simple to warm up through the hip joint while you focus on using your stomach muscles to create a little bit of compression as you exhale. Right, if you want a bit of a challenge, of course, you can raise your arms up, keep the backs of your shoulders relaxed to the bed or to the mat, of course. This time you lift up your left leg and bring your right leg to meet it. Stay there. You want to think of your shins being parallel to the ceiling. For those of us with tight backs or lower back pain, of course, shift your knees closer to your chest. If you want a bit of a challenge, move your knees further away from your hips. The further you go, the more your stomach and your back have to work. You find a position that suits your body, keeping your palms facing each other. We're just going to start with some single leg extensions. You're going to extend your right leg away from you, pointing your toes, feeling your quads contract and your side on the right lengthen out and then back. And alternate, exhale to extend the left leg and back. Good. Keep going. We keep checking. Rib cage is nice and soft, neck is relaxed, and you should be able to ideally breathe consistently through your actions. Good. Two more. Then we're going to add a bit of arm work or shoulder flexion here. Great. You're going to extend your right leg as your left arm moves overhead and back and alternate. Ideally about 10 to 12 repetitions of each action to get a good flow and feel like you've had a bit of a workout. Keep going, breathing out and breathing in. I've forgotten to count, of course, but that's all right. We'll just do it until I start to feel really tired and my voice starts to shake, all right? Good. One more. Good. Stay here. Have a little rest. Place your feet back where they were. Just bring your arms to your side. Make sure you're feeling comfortable through your neck and shoulders especially. Great. Then you're going to lift your right leg up just like you did earlier and then the left. Bring your heels together, keeping your arms by your side but raise them up off the mat, palms facing to the ceiling. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. On your exhalation, extend your legs away from you, keeping your inner thighs pressing toward each other and bend. Now the other choice here, the reason we have this cool little table is because if you can't do that and it bothers your hips or your lower back, you just slide your legs along the table. Imagine the table is longer, of course, and then bring the legs back. And then as you get more confident, you can start to raise your legs away from the table and use the table to bring your legs back toward you. This is the easier part of the movement. This is the one which requires more control, so you can use the assistance of the table if you need it. Good. Let's do 3 more. Extend and bend. 2 more. And last one. Good. Separate your legs, lower your legs down to the mat, palms down to your side. Now we're going to start working a little bit more through the upper abdominals, right? So we're going to interlace our fingers like so. You're going to have your thumbs across the side of your neck, all right? So if you can have a quick look here, you're going to have the thumbs across the side of your neck like so. Just so you use your thumbs as indicators that your neck doesn't kind of push into your thumbs, and you don't feel like you're squeezing your neck too hard while you're doing your stomach exercises, right? Your feet can stay resting on the table to begin with. Your elbows can be open, so you kind of have your chest in a nice widened position. Whenever you're ready, without pushing your heels down on the table, all right? Your heels stay nice and relaxed. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. As you exhale, you draw your ribs in and down and curl your chest like you have a beach ball over your chest, and you're bringing your head over to look at your knees, the tops of your knees. Perfect. Lower yourself down. We're thinking of articulation here. So you're lifting the back of your head, the top of your shoulders, the bottom bit of your shoulder. Then like a toothpaste like paste being squeezed out of a tube, you're thinking of lowering your spine as you bring your head and neck back down to the mat. Just nice and simple. Exhale to curl up and inhale to lengthen the spine, broaden the collarbones as you lower yourself down. Beautiful. We're going to combine the earlier actions with this movement. Bring your right leg up into your tabletop position. Do the same with the other. Stay there for a moment. Let the weight of your thighs sink into your hips so you feel zero strain across the front of your hips, right? Slowly breathe out. Lift your head and shoulders up as you let one leg move away from you. Watch your toes move away from you. And bend your knee, your hip, and lower your head and shoulders down. Keep going. Exhale to extend. Do it in slow motion. It will just give you more value for money. It's like a slow roast, I explain to my clients. You slow cook it and you get a lot of value with these actions. You focus on form. Good. Exhale. Inhale. Great. One more on each side. Again, make sure your head rests in your palms. Good. Come back to center. Great. Now you're going to keep your head and shoulders down. You're going to extend one leg up to the ceiling. Of course, you have your friendly table there. You can always pop your other heel down there if needed. Keeping your leg up there. You're going to just start to circle your leg in and away from you. Breathing in to start the circle and exhaling to complete the circle. The other choice, the slightly harder choice, is to keep the left leg up. And then of course the choice to curl up. We're going to reverse the circles. 5, 4, 3, 2, keep breathing, 1, bend your knee, head and shoulders down, have a mini rest. Again the same choice, start to circle out your legs. You might find one thigh, one hip might feel a bit tighter than the other. Then your job is to make sure you work with more control and pay more attention to not cheating. Again, leg up if you like, that's the choice you made on the other side. You go the same direction and then of course go the other way. Don't worry if your knee is slightly bent, doesn't matter. We're looking to see that we're not rolling across the hip like a rocking chair. 2 more. Bend your knee, lower your legs down, head down, relax your arms to your side. Of course, you can keep the table there if you like. We're going to do a quick stretch for your hips here. You're going to hug one knee nice and deep toward your shoulder. And you're going to make sure you don't just yank the leg up toward you. You feel like you're lifting up a latch and then bringing the latch over. So you kind of get a bit more room across the front and top of your hips. Stay for about 30 seconds ideally if you want to stretch this out a little bit more. And then of course we swap sides. Good, just make sure you breathe And however relaxed you are as a human being, you will find you can relax a little bit more. Beautiful. Lower your feet down, and then we are going to move to your kneeling exercises on your hands and knees. So as promised, we're going to get onto our kneeling position. So I'm just going to talk about your position here. So a lot of us can have a little bit of a stiff or tight or even painful wrist, okay? So please remember, at home if you have a book, you can place your hand like on a thick paperback or a hardbound copy, whatever you have at home. If you have yoga bricks, those are great ones to place your wrist on, just to make sure you don't like end up straining your wrist or elbow too much, all right? Wrist, elbow, shoulder all stacked one above the other. You want to think of the crown of your head being pulled toward the mirror, the wall in front of you, and then your tailbone moving to the wall behind you. Your spine stays suspended in between these 2 points, and you want to think of that lovely lengthened position of your spine, right? You're going to keep breathing. You're going to start with a bit of stretching and movement through your spine. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. On your exhalation, curl your pelvis or your tailbone forward. Let your chin and head drop down. Let your head suspend. Keep your chin slightly tucked toward your chest to start to lengthen your spine. Push your tailbone out. Now let the chin move away from the chest as you raise your head and gaze up to the ceiling. Good. You can do this a few times during the day, paying attention to the fact that you're not leaning forwards and back as you do it, because that doesn't really move your spine. What it does is just moves your hips and your shoulders. So you're thinking of spinal articulation. If you're a bit tight, you might find less movement, and that's typically when we try to do things to make us feel like we're doing a lot, but focus on what you're meant to do rather than doing it for the sake of doing it. Right. Find a middle ground, and you find that neutral position here. Right, we're going to really start with a simple action here. Please remember, we're not tucking our tailbone, we're holding the length of our spine here and the openness of our hips and pelvis. We're going to slowly sit our hips down toward our ankles and leap forward. Breathing in to sit back, on your exhalation leaping forward. Let the weight transfer to your wrist and to your hands as you come up and forwards. Good. Let's do that about 10 to 12 times, very comforting. Can be a very nice feeling. Again, the goal is not to sit your bum to your ankles, is to maintain the shape of your lower spine and keep that little tight feeling through the front of your stomach muscles. Right. We're going to add your arm lifts here, and we're going to alternate. So again, 10 to 15 on each side. Keep going. Of course, the next bit is going to be moving your opposite leg away from you. Right, so we do that and down and away and down. Very common to see people tipping over, etc. Try to recenter and find your balance. We don't take a break, we just reorganize our body where we need it to be, but we keep moving, all right? It's okay if you shift and twist, it's fine, it's normal. You just want to find that middle line and that suspended feeling of your spine. Good. If you want to have some fun with it, you can start to crawl and then back. It's always the back crawling that's fun. Okay, come back to center. Then we're going to come into your upright kneeling position. Tuck your toes under. Come up here, sit back onto your ankles for a moment. Just let your feet and calves, the top of your calf there, or ankle rather, stretch. Come into your high kneeling position. Bring your arms up in front of you. Keeping your hands at your shoulder height, you're going to start to do your swimming exercise here. So take a nice big breath in through your nose, and you're going to start to move your arms up and down in a little fluttering kind of an action. What we're looking to see is we're able to hold center and our midsection doesn't keep bouncing or rolling around. Keep the front of the hips open, knees, hips, shoulders and ribs all stacked one above the other, the neck nice and relaxed. You can make bigger arm movements if you like, and you can move your arms further away from your body if you like. The further away your arms are, the harder it is for you to stabilize, and that's what you want to work on, right? Bring your arms in front of you. We're going to keep our hands in that nice lengthened position with the collarbones open and wide across the front of your chest. Slowly sit back, keep the crown of your head reaching to the ceiling and leap up. Sit back and leap up. Same concept. We don't tuck the tail under, we maintain neutral. just like what you were doing when you were kneeling back and forward, right? Then keeping your arms in front of you, hinge back from the knee, use your quads, feel the lengthening of the quads as you hinge back, bring your shoulders and your head forward and back together, widen your collarbones, about 10. So we'll do another 5 here, breathing out and breathing in. Try not to use your feet too much to propel you. That's what you look like. You're about to leap forward. We want to not use the feet too much. We want to use the knees and the hips here. Good. One more. And relax your arms to your side. And then we're going to do some side lying work, and I'll meet you on the side. So we're going to lie on our side, guys. So this whatever seems comfortable for you at home on your mat, you can place a cushion or a towel underneath your head or shoulders. So I'm just going to use my bottom arm and place it underneath my head like so. I'm going to try to bring my head back. So most of us tend to lean forward in this action. So just bringing your head back so it kind of aligns with the rest of your spine. We're going to keep both our knees bent to start off with, right? And your right arm or your top arm, let's call it, can be in front of your chest or your stomach, whatever suits you. Just make sure you're looking directly forward. Right, and we're going to start with a really simple action of lifting up your top leg and just bringing it into a straight line. So have a quick look at your feet. You should be able to see your toes, right? Not the whole of your foot. If you're very tight through the hips, your foot might be forward, and that's okay. You can slowly start to bring your leg back when you feel like you're warmed up and your hips have stretched a bit more. So bring your leg back there. Right, so we should be able to see only your toes here. We're just going to slowly raise the leg slightly up to the ceiling. So this is your hip, right, and your foot is slightly higher than your hip. You want to maintain that height of the foot, and you want to keep this hip in this locked position. In this position now, we're going to move the leg forward and back about 4 to 5 times, just nice and slow, to make sure we kind of get the side of the hip to work where my hand is right now placed. Okay. Don't have to point your toes or flex your ankle or anything fancy for the moment. Just make sure you can keep up the weight of your own leg away from the floor. Good. Once you've done that 5 to 6 times, stay there. Now, bend your top leg. Yep. And then extend that leg away from you. So bend the knee toward the wall in front of you, 90-degree angle of your knee, and then extend that heel. Let the hip swing back, maintaining the height of the hip. Bend and extend. So if you do this at a lower height like so, you will feel a lot of the side of your thigh here and your quads sometimes, or even your hamstrings working. With the height change, with your knee is a little bit higher and your foot is at that angle, you get the side of your bum working, and that's what we're going for, right? So slowly extend and bend. Your bottom leg can stay nice and bent and relaxed. Your top arm, you can of course raise it up to the ceiling if you want to add a bit of a balance challenge, keeping a little space for daylight underneath your rib cage there. So about 15 is a great number for your glute exercises. They're meant for endurance. You want to do as much as you can. Right, beautiful. Lower your leg down. Good. Straighten out your bottom leg now. Bend your top leg and keep your top foot pressed down on the mat. Again, don't focus too hard on pressing too much here, alright? Just keep this foot relaxed. Now, the bottom leg, keep your little toe in contact with the mat. And imagine your big toe is being lifted up to the ceiling like so. No kicking or sickling the foot. Keep the foot straight. So you want to work the outside and the inside of your bottom leg to lift and lower. Every time you raise the leg up, the bottom leg up, make sure there's a little bit of room underneath you so you don't end up slouching or sinking down to the mat. Alright, 15 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. Let the head hang back. Arm can lift up if you like, roll the shoulders, stack the shoulders one above the other. Good. 3 more, 2 more, and relax. Great. I'm going to move on to the other side. So you find the same position on the other side, of course, on the other side, keeping your knees bent. So we do the same exercise, we lift up our top leg, extend it away. Again, I'm going to point out the foot is slightly higher than the top of my hip, and this helps me engage the back of my hip a little bit more than the side of my thigh, alright? So we're going to just slowly lift and lower the leg a little bit, just a few times just to warm up, feeling the opening to the front of the hip and the little bit of extra work or tension to the back of the hip. Try to keep your hips angled forward. This line needs to be straight, a little bit of room underneath your t-shirt. Your top arm up to the ceiling or down to the floor. Bring your head back and relax it on your arm. Now we're going to just do your bicycles here. Bend and extend. The main focus here is to extend the hip and then the knee travels along, okay? Try to do that. Breathing out and breathing in. 15, like I said, your glute muscles very essential to gait, to running, to most of your activities. Really good to get them to work for you and work quite hard. Beautiful. Then slowly lower your leg down, straighten your bottom leg, keep your hips aligned, keeping that space underneath your t-shirt. Good, slowly lift up your bottom leg and lower it down. Again, your top arm can lift up if you want a bit of a challenge, and down. Your top leg will want to take over. You just keep it relaxed and flatten all your 5 toes on the mat in front of you. Good. Again, no sickling the foot here. Sickling the foot meaning like that. You just want to keep the foot nice and straight. I'm going to do 5 more, letting my head and shoulders relax. Top arm lifts up if you like. You choose whatever suits you. 1 more. And relax. Alright guys, so the other thing I find really useful when we are at home and we have access to simple things like chairs, etc., is to just practice your squats. So I'm sure you've seen during this period more squats than you have in your entire life. So I'm just going to add on a few things that you could do, really simple. We're going to start with the really basic idea of basically sitting and standing, right? So I'm going to take a seat into this chair. So make sure the chair is a firm chair, not a couch or a bed, like a lot of clients ask me that. It's more like a firm chair, like a dining table chair without much cushioning, all right? So you can slowly lean forward. So hinge from the hips. Your hands can be resting on your hips if you want them to. That's completely fine. Try not to use your hands on your thighs because most often I find people will use their hands to push up and their neck and shoulders automatically tense, all right? So have your hands on your hips. Spread all your toes down onto the floor, and you want to have your toes slightly ahead of your knees. That's it, all right? Slowly sitting there, hinging forward, breathe, press your feet down and slowly stand up and upright. So make sure you don't whip your head up because that would kind of give you a little bit of soreness or tightness through your neck over a period of time. So have a look, you crease the front of your hips, you bring your bum close to the mat or to the bench behind you and you sit down, but not quite. You change your mind and slowly stand back up. So if you draw a line from the top of my head to my tailbone, nothing changes here. The only action comes from my hip joint, my knee and my ankle, all right? Try not to stick your bum out too much, okay? We're going to do this about 20 times because this is a really nice warm up. Big toe, little toe, center of your heels like a tripod on both your feet being in contact with the floor. Good, we're going to do 20, I'm going to do another 5. Good, really simple. Breathing in and breathing out. Good, 2 more. Beautiful, standing upright. Now you're going to find like a rag, something that's not so clean and you don't mind having on the floor. So you're going to just use this to give you a little bit of slip and slide. So moving on from the squats. So the other thing you can do at home, really simple, use a rag or a piece of cloth that you don't really care for, or even socks, depending on what kind of flooring you have, because we just want something to slide across the floor, yeah? So I'm going to use this piece of rag here. I'm going to pop my right foot on there and I'm going to come back and assume my same position as the squat like I did earlier, right? So I'm going to come into the squat position. I'm going to transfer my weight subtly but meaningfully to my left leg. So I should feel the outer part of my left foot work. So if your knees or your hips are a bit tight or don't like too much this kind of movement, you can of course turn your foot out, angle your knee over your 3rd and 5th toe and then sit into your left hip. Imagine your left hip is sitting into a chair behind you. So you have more weight on your left leg, which is like about 70% leg on the left, weight on the left leg. Hands on your hips, again making sure your pelvis is not twisted. Just stay there. Extend your right leg away and then slowly bring it back in. Just do this a few times. Again, your arm position, you can bring your arms in front of you, open them sideways, forward and back. Of course, weights, if you have them, you can use them a few more times. Ideally, at least 2 sets of 15 to feel that nice burn through your glutes. Good. Keep your head up. You don't need to look at your feet like I was just doing. Good. I'll do 5 more on this side and then we shift to the other side. Okay? So your arm position can be forward, back, on your hips, whatever suits you. Good. I'm going to shift to the other side. You can do, of course, 15 one set and then do the other leg and then switch over. Beautiful. All right. We're going to come into a squat position, transfer weight meaningfully to the right side. So I'm sitting 70% of my body weight onto my right side, keeping my nose and head up. Good. Left leg slides away from me and forward. Watch out. My hands are here just to position my hip to start off with, and then we can just keep going. Good. Sit deeper into the chair behind you if you feel like your quads are burning too much. You want more focus on the side and the back of your hip pocket here. So I'm going to do 5 more. Keep breathing. And the little slidey thing really helps you get good range through your knees and your hips. Good. Last 2. And last 1. Center your weight. Stand back upright. All right. So we're going to just stretch out your hip flexors and your hamstrings, all right? And that's what we're going to do next.